Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana. Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana. Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sirate. Jai Radha Madana Mohan Radha Madana Mohan Sirate. Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Sitana Premanande. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Tamini Prabhupada Prakasha Vitircha Pacharan Kirman Shadu Pate Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyanangana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitam Scha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavanisvari Visavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kipashindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ek more time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Where's the Bhagavatam? Where is the Bhagavatam? Where? Huh? I don't know. You like to do it? This is my first time in Australia. Just came here 2 nights ago.
Hare Krishna everyone. On behalf of the Melbourne Yatra, I welcome Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Anugraha Janardhan Maharaj. Maharaj is disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and he got initiated into sannyas in 2014. And Maharaj has over the years held many positions, but now currently he is the temple president for Vrindavan, and he travels all around the world and basically delivering the souls. And we are very fortunate that Maharaj is here in Melbourne. Thank you, Maharaj. Welcome.
Hare Krishna. But Vrindavan has 3 presidents, co-presidents. It's very condensed. Vrindavan is the home of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, Mumbai is my office, Mayapur is my place of worship, and Vrindavan is my home. Not just our Founder-Acharya's home, it's everyone's home. Wherever the father resides, all the children also and grandchildren resides. So you're all most welcome to come back home, back to Vrindavan. Reading from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8. This is the matter of withdrawal of the cosmic creations. Chapter 24, Matsya, the Lord's fish incarnation. Text number 47. Jana budoyam nija karma bandhana Sukhe chaya karma samihati shukam Yat sevayatam udanato ashangmatim Grantim shabinyad hridayham sanu guru Jano budoyam nija karma bandhana Sukhe chaya karma samihati sukam Yat sevayatam vidunoti asangmatim Grantim savinyad hridayam sano guru. Somebody else? Jano yubudoyam nija karma bandhana samihate sukam. Sanmatim. Are you twins? Brothers, right? We're all brothers here, brothers and sisters. We only have one Father, Lord Krishna. Good. Anyone else, Matajis? Jano budoya mija karma bandhana sukhe jita samohita sukam yat sevayatam vidunota sanmatim. Word for word meaning? Jana, the conditioned soul, subject to birth and death. Abudha, most foolish, because of accepting the body as the self. Ayam, he, nija karma bandhana, accepting different bodily forms as a result of his sinful activities. Sukha ichaya, desiring to be happy within this material world. Karma, fruitive activities. Samihate, plans. Ashukam, but it is for distress only. Yat Shevaya, by rendering service unto whom Tam, the entanglement of karma, Vidunoti, clears up. Ashan Matim, the unclean mentality, accepting the body as the self. Grantim, hard not. Sa, his lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bindyat, being cut off. Hridayam, in the core of the heart. Sa, he, the Lord, na, our, Guruhu, the Supreme Spiritual Master. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Prabhupada. Śrīmad Prabhupada K. In hopes of becoming happy in this material world, the fullest conditioned soul performs fruitive activities that result only in suffering. But by rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from such false desires for happiness. May my Supreme Spiritual Master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. Everybody please repeat after me. In hopes of becoming happy in this material world, the fullest conditioned soul performs fruitive activities that result only in suffering. But by rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from such false desires for happiness. May my spiritual master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. Purport. For material happiness, the conditioned soul involves himself in fruitive activities, which actually put him into material distress. Because the conditioned soul does not know this, he is said to be in avidya or ignorance. Because of a false hope for happiness, the conditioned soul becomes involved in various plans for material activity. Here, Maharaj Satyavrata prays that the Lord sever this hard knot of false happiness and thus become his supreme spiritual master. Jano budoyang nija karma bandhana sukhi chaya karma samahiyate shukam yatsi vayatam vidunoti asanmatin grantim savidyat dridayang sano guru. So King Satyavrata, who rescued a small fish, unknowingly that the fish is none different than one of the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a fish, Matsya. The Lord has unlimited expansions. We call avatars. Avatar means the one who descends from the spiritual world, equal in power, potency as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Just like as there are many waves in an ocean, you cannot count all of them. So unlimited expansions of the Supreme Lord are there, manifesting themselves in the material world to attract the conditioned souls to go back home, back to Godhead. This is the main purpose why the Lord descends in the material world, to attract the conditioned souls like us, who since time immemorial has been wandering here and there, suffering repeated birth and death. Unknowingly, because due to our ignorance, having come in contact with the material energy, that there is another world which is full of bliss, eternal life and knowledge. The material world is the perverted reflection of the original spiritual habitat of the living entities. It's like the magazine that Srila Prabhupada has started in 1944, the longest established magazine that's been published since that time, and even right now, Back to Godhead magazine. Because that is our goal, to go back home, back to Godhead. Unfortunately, many are not knowing this, and very, very few, after having come in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's devotees, followers, that we are where we are right now. So we are considered to be fortunate on the way back to Krishna. But for many, they are bound by being entangled in this material world, full of miseries and sufferings. Wherever I go, it's the same story. All over the world, the same story. Everyone is suffering. Because this is the meaning of conditioned soul, conditioned life. Condition means going up and down, like a roller coaster. Sometimes going in the heavenly planets, having a bodily form which is suitable for those who wants to enjoy. The sense of enjoyment in the heavenly planets is far greater than where we are right now. But that happiness comes and goes. The miseries also comes and go. There is no permanent, as Prabhupada says, there is no good and nothing is bad in this world. Everything is bad. Only in the spiritual world, all good, pure goodness, Suddha Sattva. So unless we are under the grips of the modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion and ignorance, we're going to have this reaction that we will have different forms of body, depends on our desires. It's like there are 8,400,000 species of life. There are also 8,400,000 different kinds of desires, by which we will have a particular form of body. To attain that desire, we will have that body. We will attain that body. To fulfill that desire. Unfortunately, no one can be fully happy in this world. And so, Satyavrata, the king Satyavrata, he understood this. Because we're hoping to have this sense enjoyment in the material world. But unfortunately, it cannot happen. The soul cannot have this material happiness to be fully satisfied. It doesn't make sense because we don't have anything to do with the material energy. But unfortunately, we are here because we want to enjoy separate from Krishna. This is the main reason why we are here. We have this minute independence. We can say yes or no to Maya. If we say yes, then we suffer. If we say no, there's only two, either Krishna or Maya. There's no such thing as in between. So, this hard nut specifically mentions here can cut the nut of false desires from the core of my heart. Only Krishna or his pure representative can cut this hard nut. What is this hard nut? Attachment to material things, false ego, illusion of happiness derived from sense gratification. This is what is meaning here of a hard nut. Very difficult to break. Like, cannot. It's impossible, almost impossible. But it is possible. It is possible to break this. And based from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is deep-rooted within everyone's heart. It's not the heart that's pumping the blood. The soul has a soul. The soul has a heart. You cannot see that heart with your microscope also. There is no material instrument can measure the soul, what to say of the heart. And within the heart of a pure devotee, the Lord resides. Even conditioned souls, Paramatma. Paramatma resides within our heart. He knows past, present, and future. And the external manifestation of the Paramatma is the spiritual master. So from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, this hard nut of false happiness was mentioned by Rishabdev. Pumsa striya mituni bhavang etang tayor mito hridaya grantim aho ato griha kshetra shutapta vitair danash janasya yam ahang mameti. That means the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. And the basis of this misconception, the hard knot, Hridaya Granthi, develops. And one becomes entangled in thoughts of home, land, children, friends, and wealth. In this way, one increases illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. Prabhupada says this is the greatest bondage in the material world, family life. Of course, family is not bad if Krishna is the center. But if one thinks that in family I will enjoy only, then one will become more and more entangled in the cycle of repeated birth and death. The hard knot, Hridaya Granthi, is a deep-rooted attachment to the material world. Prabhupada gave an example. It's like a person who is hugging a tree. And the person says, "Get me out of here. I want to get out from this tree, to be separated from tree." But you are hugging the tree. So how are you going to be able to get out? You have to release. You have to be detached. You have to be detached from material sense enjoyment. False happiness arises because this attachment gives only temporary pleasure. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. This is material happiness. And it's flickering, only lasts for a few minutes. Real happiness is always increasing and is going up and up. Unending happiness. That means it's the pleasure that derives from enjoying the same objects with our senses is temporary happiness. And what follows with that? A little bit of sense enjoyment, more suffering, anxiety, and repeated birth and death. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, these knots of the heart are cut by bhakti. It says here also, only by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Spiritual Master, as Satyavrata, was addressing the Supreme Lord. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samsaya kshiyanti chasya karmani drishta evat manishvare. 11th canto, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 11th canto, chapter 20, text 30. The translation: when a person engages in devotional service, bhakti yoga, and attains realization of the Supreme Lord, the hard knots of the heart are cut apart. All doubts are removed and all karmic reactions are destroyed. It's like we've heard from the Śrīmad Bhāgavad Gita, there are 5 topics discussed. Isvara, the Supreme Lord, the Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, material nature, Kala, time, and Karma. And mentions there that of all the 5, only one is not eternal. That is karma. Karma can be stopped. There is an end to karma, the reaction for all the fruitive activities that we perform by engaging in bhakti. Only bhakti destroys or burn to the root karma, the reactions from past. So bhakti, devotional service, is the only process that can cut this hard knot. Material doubts and karma dissolve when one realizes that Krishna is the actual source of happiness. Prabhupada wrote this pamphlet, this small pamphlet, Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure. You've heard of that? You've read that? It's like Prabhupada says, if you want gold, then you should go to the mountain of gold. Unlimited gold, practically. So we're seeking pleasure in the material world, which cannot satisfy us. And the source of real pleasure, unending and always increasing, is Lord Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. Only when we understand Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am meant to serve Him, this is my eternal nature, to serve the Supreme Lord, then I can truly be happy and satisfied. And this is beyond the false happiness, again, in the translation and in the purport. False happiness, false desires for happiness. We were talking about last night in our meeting, the person can have 22,000 desires per day. There was a study done. I don't know how they did it, how they found out. But we should only have one desire, to serve the Lord and His devotees. Nothing else. That's why we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Correct? To ask for more and more seva. Not to be served, but to serve. So by bhakti, we transcend false happiness and experience true bliss, ananda. How to get rid of this hard nut of false happiness? We have to disentangle ourselves to this deeply rooted attachment. This is like there since time immemorial, since we have come in contact with the material energy. So we should cultivate detachment through jnana, or knowledge. Regular study of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's like right now we have these Bhakti Sastri courses, right? Or Bhakti Vaibhav, or Bhaktivedanta, or very soon, I know someone who just finished Bhakti Vaibhav, now he's doing Bhaktivedanta. Then after that, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. But ultimately, is to purify our heart. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, with this knowledge, cut the material attachment, the ignorance. Meditate on how material relationships and possessions ultimately lead to suffering. If they are devoid of Krishna consciousness, relationship, especially husband and wife, they should have a mutual understanding between each other. Set a good example for their children. Whatever the children sees from their parents, either it will upgrade them or downgrade them. So parents has to set the best example for the children so that they grow up to be Krishna conscious. Engaging in devotional service or bhakti yoga, this is how we can disentangle ourselves from this hard knot. One of them, foremost, is chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the best method. We should not, year after year, goes on, chant mechanically. We should chant with love, with feelings, with bhav. In the beginning, yes, always the complaint, Maharaj, my mind. My mind goes all over the universe when I chant. What shall I do? I cannot focus. The best way is to ignore the mind, just like Haridas Thakur, when he was allured by the prostitute. Haridas Thakur says, okay, I will fulfill your desire to enjoy. Just sit here. Let me finish my rounds. Because I have prescribed number of rounds to do, and it's getting late, so I have to finish these rounds. Similarly, when the mind troubles us, Prabhupada says, it's not possible to control the mind. Don't try to control the mind. The only way how to control the mind is to think of Krishna. Because the mind is continuously going on, even while we are sleeping. That's why Prabhupada says before we go to sleep, we should read Krishna book. Or whatever we do the whole day, it reflects. And we will still remember when we go to sleep. I'm sure many of you have dreams of the spiritual master. How many of you have dreamt of Srila Prabhupada? Raise your hand, don't be shy. How about your own spiritual master? Oh yes. How about Krishna? Yes, sometimes children, they will say, I dream of Krishna, I dream of Radharani. Because of their innocence, they're not so polluted. So, always think of Krishna and never forget Krishna. This is how we can control the mind. Hearing and associating with pure devotees. This helps in developing attachment to Krishna instead of material things. We should search. They're very rare though. They don't come every day. You don't see them in the street of Melbourne. Very rare. Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. Very rare. For Bhagavan to come once in one day of Lord Brahma. To do pure bhakti without any adulteration, without desire for karma and gyan, very rare. And bhakti and bhakta, pure devotee of the Lord. So we should take advantage. Deity worship. We can disentangle ourselves. As Prabhupada says, when we cleanse the temple room, it's like cleansing our heart. When we watch or when we see, when we have darshan of the Lord, it purifies our heart. When we smell the fragrant flowers offered to the Lord or the incense, it purifies our heart. When we clean the utensils, I've read one time that those who clean the utensils used by the pujaris, they're greater than the pujari who did the puja. Why? Because the pujari may be thinking of something else also while doing the puja, while doing the artik, but definitely when you cleanse, you're cleaning your heart. That's deity worship. Our senses are being engaged in service rather than in sense gratification. Another way how we can get rid of this hard knot is to have the desire and develop a service attitude. As Prabhupada says, one's advancement in Krishna consciousness can be ascertained or measured according to one's service attitude. Ultimately, bhakti is internal, more than external. So what is our motivation? Why we are doing what we are doing in bhakti? We can only find happiness in serving Krishna and his devotees. Every day, in our activities, daily activities, while even at work, eating and relationships, again, should be centered around Krishna's pleasure. For those who are working, give part of your income to help propagate Krishna consciousness. In some religions, they have mandatory, they give 10%, right? How many of you are giving 10% to Krishna? Maybe not even 1%. I'm not talking about you, but generally. Either you can give your time, your energy, or some financial help to help the operation of the temple and spreading Krishna consciousness. Don't be misers. We don't own anything actually. Everything belongs to Krishna. And as soon as we say, oh, no, this is mine. Aham, mameti. I, me, and mine. Therefore, it'll be very difficult to be fully satisfied. Practice yukta vairagya. What's yukta vairagya? Balanced renunciation. We cannot be renounced artificially. It's like in India, in the Holy Dham, we've seen the sadhus. They live with only one luggage, one bag. They probably have 2 sets, or even 1 set of clothes. And they go beg madhukari for their food. They only depend on Krishna. In the West, and here in Australia, I'm sure you live like kings. That's true. You cannot live like this in India. But in the West, this is normal. Having a house, having a big villa worth $10 million, $15 million. But what are you giving to Krishna? Oh yes, Maharaj, I'm doing this, everything for Krishna. That's true. If Krishna is the center of your daily activities, you all chant together, pray together, offer everything before you eat to Krishna, have some chanting there, and invite devotees at home to have satsanga, discussion about the glories, the name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. That is admirable. Otherwise, no, it is not. Instead of being attached to money for self-enjoyment, one can use wealth to support devotional activities, charity, and temple services. That's the best way to use your wealth. I know one person, one devotee, and I told him, Prabhu, you have enough money to live till the end of your life. Why are you still working so hard? I know one devotee in Dubai, or rather Abu Dhabi. He's been there for 37 years and still working hard. Prabhu, why are you working so hard? Oh, I have to help my brother. Why don't you go go? His mother actually is in Vrindavan. But he's always waiting until he finishes his family responsibility. But where does it end? Are you just going to be working all your life? How can you balance this? How can you attain going back to Godhead if you're like this? But Maharaj, what can I do? This is my karma. So we should apply this, what we just mentioned, in our daily activities. At work, instead of working just for money and prestige, work with the attitude of serving Krishna through your duties. At home, make the home a center of devotional activities, not just a place for material comfort. In relationship, instead of possessing people for personal happiness, see relationships as an opportunity to help others advance in Krishna consciousness. The parents should not think that my children are my proprietor. I am the proprietor. I'm the proprietor. They belong to me. I own them. No, you are caretakers of them. As soon as you think, oh, they are my property, no. Then again, you're in a false conception of life. Help them to make advance in Krishna consciousness. That is your duty. And I've seen a lot of cases when they're just still young. Oh, they're very inclined in bhakti. Sometimes they will even grab the chamara during artik. What they will do, the artik themselves. But once they grow up, once they reach the age of 14, Hare Krishna, that is the magic age. That is the deciding factor. If they can make it at the age of 14, they'll continue on to be a devotee. And if somehow they got distracted because of the wrong association outside, we still hope and pray that they will never forget Krishna and at least they will chant a few rounds. But very rare that the kids actually remain. Well, what can the parents do? Still remind them about becoming Krishna conscious, becoming attached to Krishna. And they cannot find real happiness if they don't have Krishna. Anybody. So the hard knot of happiness is deeply ingrained within everyone's heart. This is false happiness. False happiness means it's not real. It's not real. True happiness is not found in temporary material things, only in Krishna consciousness. So we have to engage in bhakti yoga, or devotional service, and that means hearing and chanting about Lord Krishna. Then gradually we'll be able to cut this knot. Gradual. Our process is a gradual process. We cannot cut corners in order to attain Krishna prema. We cannot. We can expedite this, but we have to follow the process as well. We cannot omit, oh, I like this, I don't like this. No, it's like in reading Prabhupada's books. You cannot say, oh, I like this part of Bhagavatam, oh, I don't like this. No, in Bhagavatam, everything is explained. All the intrigues, all the necessary things that we need to know. It's like in the third canto, the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the story of Diti and, what's that name? Kashyapa Muni. It says there about having been attached to each other. Being inflicted by lusty desires to enjoy. Everything is here. Prahlad Maharaj, being a pure devotee, took birth in a demoniac family. His father, Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. Hiranyakashipu, he wants his son to be also like him. That's why this is where it comes from. Like father, like son. He wants his son to be a better demon than him. But no. He was very attached in remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that even his father wanted to harm him. He was not able to be harmed. He's protected by the Supreme Lord. So, yes, his faith is unshaken. There are many, many examples in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Haridas Thakur is so dedicated in his chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. He was born in a Muslim family, but again, because his attachment to the holy name never disturbed him, even though he was beaten up in 22 marketplaces. How about Vasudeva Datta, the ultimate example in being renounced? He offered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that all the sinful reactions of everyone to be transferred to him. He's very, very concerned. He doesn't mind going to hell. As long as everyone is saved from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Completely selfless. His only happiness is that to give Krishna happiness. So there are many examples, and how we can get rid of this hard nut. But ultimately we have to surrender. Prabhupada says, faith means ultimately one will surrender. One should surrender. It's not just having faith all the time and not surrendering. This is the modern day religions, so-called religions. They have faith. Oh, they have faith. There is God. But they don't surrender to God. In Krishna consciousness, it's so complete. It starts from faith, ado shada, tatu sadhu sangha, tato bhajana kriya, tato nibriti, until we reach Krishna prema. So, this is the prayer of Satyabrata Muni, that only by your mercy, my supreme spiritual master is praying to Matsya, to the fish incarnation. You're the only one. Please, may my supreme spiritual master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam K. Any questions, any reflections, any comments? Children, you're very attentive. Any questions? Comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you just explained in the class that to cut the knot, we have to develop detachment.
Yes.
And as a family member, how to have a pure love or unalloyed love towards the kids without even attachment? So, if
affection should be there. Attachment and affection, two different things. You're attached. You want to make your children happy. But don't make them happy for them to enjoy materially. You can make them happy by giving them Krishna consciousness, real happiness. You have to give them freedom as well. I know one devotee in Abu Dhabi, because I go regularly in UAE. Maharaj, I don't have time. And this devotee is having only one daughter. And he doesn't have time to the daughter. So the daughter is complaining, Papa, When are you going to take me out? Because it's natural. They want to go, maybe sightseeing. Fine, give them that. But then you have to tell them that actually, this is also Krishna's creation. Spend some time like picnic. There you go. Bring lots of rasgullas and jalebis. Don't bring them to dabas or restaurants. Attachment, usually the materialists, they want to make their children happy. Materially. The happiness of the children is the father's happiness, even if it is material. But that is not our philosophy. That will be the source of their miseries and sufferings later on. You give them material happiness. I know there is a family. Actually, I know two families. One god brother who lives in USA. I went to visit him last summer. And his children never ever saw videos or television. Never watched television or play games in this video, whatever you call it. You know what is the alternative for them? They have learned musical instruments. They learn how to sing bhajans, classical songs, and they're still young, about the age of these boys. They learn how to play veena. You know veena? It's a very difficult instrument. The musical instrument of Narad Muni. They know how to play mridanga. Yes. I go to UAE and those kids, they spend a lot of time playing musical instruments. They're busy, but in a positive way. Yeah? Now, if they have mobile phones and they just spend their time, one devotee, he will give time for his son to also play football or watch video. But he only watches football games because he likes football. He doesn't play this, like fighting and killing videos. That's what it is anyway, right? Looks like they know what I'm talking about. That's what it is. It's violence. One time, because he was very well trained, this boy, he let him go to cinema with his friends. They will watch this Marvel movies. And then his friends will invite him, come on, let's go sightseeing inside the mall. Spend some time, like window shopping. And the boy says, no, I'm going home. Why waste my time with these guys? But he goes with them, a certain limit, but because he's Krishna conscious, he knows how to control his senses. This is training of the parents. This is how you should do it. You give them freedom, but up to a certain extent, because they need freedom. I know one boy, he was told to chant Hare Krishna. But this boy is very much liking the chapati. So, no chanting, no chapati. And so, he was trained like this. Come on, I really want chapati. So, depends on how many rounds you chant, then you have how many chapatis there are. You know what happened to the boy? He grew up, he went to high school. It's the same thing. Then when he went to college, he became an atheist. He forget about this. I don't like this. No. Why he was forced? Why forced like that? You cannot do like that. No. You have to be intelligent enough. So attachment and affection, two different things. You must be affectionate to them because they're children of God, children of Krishna. You have to take care of them. That's why he says, don't be a guru, don't be a king, don't be a teacher, don't be a parent if you cannot save your subjects from the cycle of repeated birth and death. But try your best. See, once they grow up, it is their karma now. In the beginning, it seems to be no karma. Their karma is to take birth in your family. Karma means collective karma. Either collectively you all enjoy or suffer. That is karma, collective karma. Is there any other question here? Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, you mentioned about the 14 year as a magic age.
Yes. I remember that when I was 14 years old. What to do? I'm seeing the whole world is like, it's not enjoyable. You have to have a very, reflective mind to do this, to understand. And
What steps or what can a parent do while the children is 14?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. Pray hard and harder. Pray hard, especially to Lord Balaram. If you have any problems, go approach Lord Balaram. We have Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. Any problems you may have, even before you tell Lord Balaram, you'll be able to solve your problem. Because he's the Adi Guru, Lord Nityananda. He'll help you.
Thank you.
Set a good example. That's why he says, example is better than precept. What is the use of your talking? Like you're distributing books? Let them buy the book. Your talking is cheap. But let them be convinced for them to buy the book, the most valuable thing that they can ever have. So you have to tell the kids, this is the most valuable thing in this world. I have one Mataji last night. She's already working, and she doesn't know the purpose of life. She doesn't know. She cannot make a decision what to do. But I told her, well, you're already working. What else decision? You have to be Krishna conscious now. That's the only thing missing as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We have plenty of many things in this world. The only thing that is lacking is Krishna consciousness. Okay. Any other points? Last one? Or last two? Shriram Prabhu raised his hands.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes?
I just had a very deep personal question of mine. I don't know whether I'll get correct answer for that or not. The thing is, like, my parents...
You cannot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever I'm thinking, I don't know it's correct or wrong. So I just in a confusion. Like, my parents are just gave a lot of, I think it's a tension every time. They say, like, you need to have good marks to get good job, to have this, that, everything.
Okay, what is the question?
The thing is, like, do I really need to follow everything and suffer every time? And sometimes I hate them. Is that correct? Because
you should not hate your parents. They're
yeah,
the
but
reason
sometimes
why.
when I couldn't make it, it makes me unhappy that I'm not worthful to do that.
Where are they now?
They are in India, yeah.
Do they know what you're doing here?
No.
So how do you say that they're unhappy?
Because I when I talk to them, they say like, you're not doing that, so why? So I really don't like that.
You alone here?
Yeah.
With
I'm
whom?
a student.
You're with whom? Student.
Yeah.
So finish your studies first.
Okay.
Okay.
So whatever I study, it's like a study from my father's suggestion, not mine as well.
No, yeah, they want you to study, so finish your studies.
Okay.
Go find a job, but be Krishna conscious all the way through.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So thank you very much for explaining the how to raise the kids. So I would like to request to expand on that bit more. That in the class you mentioned that one should not work unendingly. So how the devotee should plan to retire or shift more towards the Krishna consciousness than the working.
How do you retire? When are you supposed to retire?
Rather, how to plan it.
Huh?
How to plan it for a devotee, yes.
First of all, you have to plan for the future. Future means after this life. That is real planning. But we have to be also practical. As we mentioned earlier, if you have already enough money, and the children, they need to be educated, and also they have to have them be married. And that is a big anxiety for the parents. If you're going to have your children be married, better be they are also devotees. Yeah. And once they are married, they are on their own. They're still your children, your kids, but karma now is gonna be different. So your first foremost duty is for them to be Krishna conscious, to the best of your ability. Try as much as possible. Whatever you show them, whatever you have brought them up, that will be ingrained in their consciousness. And if they change, you cannot do anything. It's only between them and the material energy. For you, your main concern is to give them Krishna. But never give up. If they don't follow the direction whereby you want them to tread to follow. They have their own karma to burn. But you help them as much as possible. That is the principle. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Itai Go Sitanat Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Om Tat Sat.